Just give a couple of seconds for everybody to filter through from the lobby into the main room. Lovely. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's online information session with Maynooth University. My name is Harriet Legood, and I am the Postgraduate Marketing and Recruitment Manager here at MU. I'm joined today by my colleague Deirdre Dunn from the MU International Office and my colleague Professor John Cullen from the Maynooth University School of Business. Today's event focuses on our newly launched MBA programme, our Masters of Business Administration. In a few moments, Professor Cullen is going to take you through the information on that programme. Firstly, just a little housekeeping. You will note that your microphones are muted, but you can submit questions and comments through the Q&A function of the event, and myself and Deirdre and John will answer as many as we can. Don't wait until the end. Please pop your questions in as you think of them, and we'll be answering as we go. This event is being recorded, and a copy of the recording will be emailed to you when we finish today. Okay, so I'm delighted to welcome our speaker for today, Professor John Cullen. Professor Cullen is a management lecturer and a postgraduate programme teaching and learning lead at the Maynooth University School of Business, and he will introduce our new MBA programme to you, and I'm sure he'll be very happy to answer questions at the end. So Professor Cullen, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks very much, Harriet. Good afternoon or good evening, everybody, depending on where you are. Very grateful that you've joined us here today. If you're not familiar with the grounds of Maynooth University, we have a very short video to share with you here now, just to kind of give you a sense of what the campus is like and what it's like to walk around. We did have some issues with the sound on this, so apologies if this is quiet, but it gives you literally a run through the university to give you a sense of the scale of the university and the type of facilities and learning environment that we provide. So, can you still hear me? So I don't know whether the sound worked on that or not, but it did. Oh, it did? Okay.
Sorry, we can hear you, but unfortunately the sound didn't work, but it still played nicely.
It was some musical accompaniment anyway, so it wasn't any factual information that was been sent out there. I think really what we were just really trying to showcase there is the scale of the university, which is a mid-sized university, but you can see that it's very much has its roots going right back to the institution's foundation in, I think, 1795. So it's a mixture of the classical right up to more literally near zero buildings that have been completed over the last couple of years. And indeed, most of that last building that ran through the end is the TSI building, the Technology, Science and Innovation building, where the School of Business has its headquarters. As a School of Business, we're Ireland's youngest business school, established in, I think, there's some muddiness around the actual founding date, but we say it's between 2007 and 2008, and started off as a very small business school meeting the needs of a local population. What it did was it gave us an opportunity to deliver business and management education in a way that in a completely new way. really what this showed for us was allowed us an opportunity to address the needs of the business world, to look at a new cohort of graduates and young people who are joining us as young learners, new learners who are joining us, and enable us to craft an approach to learning that prioritized the student experience. We're very lucky in Maynooth University because that has I know, many universities say we put our students at the heart of the learning experience. Maynooth University's traditions, as I say, going back to 1795, has been one of deep care for students. And as a result of that, we were able to bring it into our business education. So although we're the youngest business school in Maynooth, and I think in the British Isles, we have a large international faculty. And I put a link in there, so you can scroll through and see the headshots and the people who are working with us to see that it is we've recruited the best and the brightest, as far as we're concerned, from all over the world, growing up to I think a staff cohort of about 180 between full-time and part-time members at the moment. Do explore that if you get a chance to see, who could potentially be teaching you. We are in the AACSB accreditation pathway, which means that we've passed our ISER and we're in the process of becoming fully accredited as a business school. And what this means is that we will be one of 6% of business schools in the world who are accredited by AACSB. This pathway can take, up to a number of years. We're about 2 or 3 years into the process at the moment. Things are progressing well, and we are. It means that that graduates from our School of Business will be able to say that they're from an accredited business school. Excuse me. There's a growing taught postgraduate portfolio and base, and over the last year, our postgrad taught enrollments, that's master's program enrollments, grew by 20%. If you want to get a sense of what these master's programs are, please go to this website. I do encourage you to explore these, and a snapshot of the programs and portfolios that are available on the website. These are the ones that are for the current academic year. You of course will be for the forthcoming academic year. We have masters in business analytics, accounting, finance. We have a postgrad diploma in sustainable financial technology and innovation. We also have masters in IT enabled innovation, which looks at the whole field of digital transformation, which might be something else that your clients, or indeed your clients, might be interested in, or indeed you might be interested in as a student as well. Indeed, it's a very hot area within the whole area of digital management at the moment. We have an MSc in business management, which is a master's for students who are interested in studying business but may not have studied it as part of their undergraduate degree. An MSc in strategy and innovation, which is an advanced focus on strategic development and innovation in organizations. Digital marketing, and I'll talk about some of our newer programs that are coming on stream just now. The new master's programs that we're offering this year are an MSc in Consumer Insights and Branding Strategy. This is one that is directly reflective of what industry has been looking from us. This is an MSc in Marketing Analytics that tries to create strategic impact for companies. So it's not just marketing analytics with a focus on the coding and the maths, but with how it will be used within marketing functions within real organizations to create brand advantage. A new one, as well as our MSc in Supply Chain Management, who a number of my colleagues are really, really happy to see this get off the ground, because they come from a field where they see areas like logistics, supply chain management, reverse supply chains, and green supply chains as being critical to how businesses are going to move things around in the future. It's very, very sensitive to a changing geopolitical landscape. Unfortunately, it's changing more quickly than most of us would probably like at the moment. It's how businesses negotiate the movement of goods, services around an increasingly globalized business world, despite the fact that there may be some hindrances, some of which are environmental, some are political. How do we actually make sure that those supply chains work? This is a field that there was a big upsurge in interest over, perhaps not surprisingly, over the course of the various lockdowns and public health measures that were brought in as part of the global pandemic, the MSc in supply chain management. Now, the fees, international fees for these, I think are, I'll show the fees website at the end, are in around the range of 18,000 euros for the program. But here today, we're here to talk about the Masters of Business Administration, and of course, MBAs have become over time they have become one of the most highly valued business qualifications that people can get from anywhere in the world. They've been around for a number of decades. We think at the current stage of our development, with our focus on executive education, and again going back to that philosophy of care and development for individual students, that now is the time to introduce a new MBA that will do different things for students, as we've always tried to do with our business education programs in Maynooth. An MBA exists to take somebody who may have started their career and who may want to deepen or their management or general business understanding, so that they can succeed in a more competitive job market. So this is the one that qualified professionals join, so they can become much more of a management generalist with a broader understanding of how what the business does and how it functions. It's also undertaken by people who may be entrepreneurs or who may be running their own business, and they really want to deepen their understanding of how their business is going to compete in an ever-changing landscape. Not surprisingly, MBA qualifications, particularly from schools that are on accreditation pathways or are fully accredited, are really in high demand from employers, and especially MNCs, multinational organizations, who want a deeper understanding of they want new MBA graduates who've got an understanding of the changing global business landscape. The focus areas in the MBA for us are industry exposure. It's important that every piece of every module that you do be informed by insights from the business landscape itself. That this isn't just an academic field of study, it's one where we have guest speakers from industry, managers who are coming on, making presentations on the challenges that they're facing. Not so they can talk about the difficulties and the issues that they're facing into, but so that the students who are participating in the MBA program can find out ways, can determine their own career path and see how they're going to fit into these companies to help them address their challenges. Career development and management, as I've mentioned already, is pretty much critical to everything that we do. We don't want graduates to come out with we do want graduates to come out with a qualification and a nice parchment at the end of their degree program. But we want it to be something that will enable you to flourish in whatever career you're going to be going into afterwards. I've got compulsory modules up there as a subheading under career development and management. In other MBA programs, career development and management are often something that you have to do. In some cases, they're just elective or they're optional. You have to do career planning and development when you are doing the MBA in Maynooth University, because it exposes you to a number of different ways in which you can think about how you're going to develop your own unique degree as part of the focus of this. We have other support areas, like we have LinkedIn coming in a couple of weeks to do headshots and to advise on how our current students can change how they present themselves online to make themselves more attractive to the recruitment market. We have CV or resume clinics where you will sit down and go through your CV to make sure that you are presenting the best possible side of yourself as a graduate of the university to recruitment market. And indeed, this is something that I think we could all go through regardless of the stage of our career development, myself included. I found a couple of typos on my own CV a couple of years ago that I had been using for a number of years. Interview preparation, of course, and of course placement workshops as well to help you understand how, if you do decide to go down the placement route for your summer pathway, talk about that in a little bit, that if you decide you want to do that rather than a business consulting project, how to prepare for this, how to prepare for going to work in businesses that will also be part of your own qualification, but also to ensure that you can have the best possible impact while you're there. Many of our students who go on placements are subsequently recruited by the companies that they go to work with. Okay, so how does it actually work? This is a full-time program. There are taught modules across 2 semesters. That's running from September to June. So from, say, September until December, usually with exams, if it's an examinable module, in around January, and then from February to May with exams up until the end of June. And these modules are, as I mentioned, career planning and development, strategic management, leadership and team management, a really critical area, I think, for anybody doing an MBA. Human resource management, actionable insights through research, which is an optional model for actually, developing research skills that you can then turn into research outputs. Data analysis, of course, critically important for any decisions that are being made at a managerial level at the moment. Global business, critical for anybody who really wants to explore the international aspect of how business is done at the moment. And at the time we're speaking, there's some measures that have been threatened or been taken into account. So this will change that landscape as well. How do businesses actually negotiate through this and survive at a time when there are different ideas about the nature of global business being flouted at the moment. We go right into the important technical aspects of doing business as well. It is really interesting for me to meet managers who say, one of the key skills that they developed was just being able to, not so much do accounts, but understand how accounts work and what financial statements actually mean. There's a corporate finance, of course, is a very an important part. I think something that's critically important to businesses all over the world is how exactly do we do sustainability in business? Right from the UN Sustainable Development Goals, sustainable economic growth is considered critical to delivering socially inclusive ways of working, ways of being in the world, alongside environmentally sustainable actions that will protect, conserve, and restore our natural environment. Sustainable economic growth, responsible economic growth, and pillars that support that are considered really important. Indeed, many of the MBA students around the world have been demanding from their universities and from their business schools that they learn more about their role that they're going to have in developing businesses that will address climate change head on. Okay? And this is something that we've done our research on this, we have published our research on this, and this has become a fundamental pillar of how we do things in Maynooth University School of Business. As I mentioned before, we have logistics and supply chain management, also critically important to developing sustainable business models. And for understanding how business is going to be done in a changing world, we have an entire master's program in this field, but it is also going to be included in our MBA as well. Marketing has changed over the years, as we all know. So marketing in an increasingly digital or digitized world is the title of the MBA model, alongside, of course, entrepreneurship and innovation, critical part of all MBA curricula. It's a full-time program, so every week there will be classes. They'll be timetabled. In our other master's programs, these are blocked together over full days towards the end of the week. These will take place weekly at scheduled times, just like in an undergraduate program. Because it's only available as a full-time option, the industry placement, or BCP, will take place from July to December. Now, placement is you actually go and work in a structured way with a company and gain business and management experience with them. The BCP is the Business Consulting Project, where you'll be paired up with another student or possibly even another group of students to go to a business to work with them to actually do a real consulting project, to work on a real problem that that business might be having. Opportunity to showcase yourself to the company, but the CV capital that comes back from something like that to say that I've actually worked on a real problem, had to use all of these skills that you see here on the left hand side of that screen, saying that leadership, human resource management, data analysis, the financial aspect, logistic, trying to look at sustainability and ethical issues, looking at all of those different components and then applying it to a real world situation gives you something that's really valuable, I think, for yourself and your CV as you then move on. All of our programs are taught on campus in Maynooth. So this program also is a full-time MBA that will be taught on Maynooth University campus. We don't deliver it online. We do expect 100% attendance for the program. For all of our master's program, we've got a 75% minimum to pass each module. Important to mention this because sometimes it happens that people can't attend for 75% of the module, depending on their circumstances. This means that they will, we may be saying to them, well, okay, technically you can't pass this module, but there's no kind of bypass it. They have to come back and maybe do it the following year or complete it in another way. Now, depending on the circumstances, there are different fee implications that arise for that. But this is a full-time program. All School of Business postgraduates this year will need to be in country by Wednesday, the 17th of September for induction. The induction is quite important, and we do actually have an induction program that's built up for this year. So it's not just arriving on the day, receiving some information. There may be possibility to get some certification for learning about group work and for what's required of you as a student and what you need to know to succeed as an MBA student when you arrive at Maynooth University. The course fees, this is quite competitive. I think this is 25,000 for the program. This is MBAs tend to cost a little bit more than other ones, but I think there's an additional level of badging that comes from it. If you want to, it says their fees may be liable to change. If you want to check for updates, go to this website, which is maynoothuniversity.ie, student-fees-grants/postgraduate. It'll take you to a website like this, and the link that you'll be looking for will be this one, 2025 to 2026 postgraduate EU and international fees. It gives you a full listing of all the different fees that are available for all of our postgrad programs in the university, but the School of Business ones are included in that one also. So you apply by going to this system here. You'll see on the right hand side, it's our new application system. Use MU Apply for postgrad programs. The link that I have for it there is going in through our postgraduate studies office, which who Harriet is heading up. So thank you, Harriet, for that. If there has been an update to any of those, I'll happily accept your direction on it. But that's the MU Apply option for postgraduate programs, and students can apply now. How long? What's the deadline? We leave that application window open until courses have reached their complement. But this, just to let you know, I think that this means that many programs tend to fill very quickly. So early applications are encouraged. In fact, early applications are encouraged anyway. I think, particularly if you're traveling a considerable distance, maybe to come and live in Ireland for the duration of the program. There's a lot of stuff to organize, and we are just at the start of February now. So this is around the time that applications tend to pick up very, very quickly. Finally, I just want to thank Harriet for organising this webinar, and to thank Deirdre, who will have lots of sharing her expertise in any questions that you have about for international students or indeed for international agents who are coming to the who joined us here today, and to thank you as well for joining us. I think we were up to about 80 attendees at one stage. And the clock here is saying that I've spoken for 35 minutes. So apologies for, I'm sure that's I haven't spoken for all of that time. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now, and I'll hand back to you, Harriet.
Thank you so much, Professor Cullen. No, you didn't speak for 35 minutes, but it was really interesting, and I think it took us and all the participants through the main points of not just the MBA, but the wider program offering in the school and the school itself. So it's really much appreciated. Just a reminder to please use that question box to put any questions that you have. I can see that a couple have come through. We do have a couple of questions specifically for you, John. But I'm just going to hand over to Deirdre for a moment because I know that we have a lot of international prospective students and our agent partners on the call. So Deirdre, I don't know if you want to kind of comment on the support of the international office and kind of who to contact or next steps for those students.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Harriet, and thanks, John. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It's great to see such high numbers there. In case you don't know me or you don't know exactly what I do in the office, my name is Deirdre. I'm the conversion officer in the international office. So essentially, I join in the process once a student receives an offer, and I support them in the months coming up to their arrival here to Maynooth University. I give them general information on living and studying here. At the moment, I'm giving them scholarship information in detail, for example. That continues on. We cover topics like accommodation, finding part-time work here, and then leading up into arrival and the orientation itself. We give them a lot of information on that. We also help them registering with the Irish Immigration Service. It happens after arrival here. The support continues right throughout their studies, right throughout their year or years with us, and right up to the point when they leave us and they move on to their graduate visa, their 1G visa as it's called, and then they go off and they join or rejoin the workforce here in Ireland. Some of the agents on the call obviously would know me quite well. I think most of you now are set up for access to our new portal, MU Apply. If you're not, just drop me an email and I will do it immediately for you.
Thanks so much, Deirdre. And just, I suppose, for the kind of all participants, we have a dedicated admissions team here at Maynooth University that process all applications and provide support. If anyone is kind of unsure of the application process or the documents required, they can contact the postgraduate admissions team directly. And I've actually dropped the email address for ourselves on the postgraduate studies team and the international team into the chat, so you can see them there, and of course all contact details are available on the website as well. We might go to a couple of questions. Professor Cullen, there's a few questions just around the entry requirements for the program, so it's probably a good thing to kind of clarify the kind of academic background that prospective students should have for the MBA specifically.
So we are looking for a minimum of a 2-2 in the Irish system. So when you apply these, your qualifications, depending on where you're coming from in the world, will be reviewed by the postgraduate admissions team to see if there's an equivalency there. So it's a 2. I think the agents would have a good sense of what that qualification is like. So it's the same for our other master's programs at the moment, which is a 2-2. Now that is depending on there's currently a discussion about whether that needs to go up. It certainly won't be coming down any further than a 2-2.
And is there any? Sorry, Professor Cullen, go on.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. There's a couple of questions specifically around any working experience requirement for the program. Some MBAs globally require students to have, 5 years working experience. Is this something that would accept freshers or those with no working experience into it?
Okay, so if there's somebody who's a new graduate from their degree program, a lot of this would depend on how they articulate their rationale for wanting to do the MBA. I realize that some do have age limits in place, but this very much depends on what the student says that they want to get out of the program. I know one MBA program I spoke on once, there was somebody who was not exactly a fresher. They had worked for maybe a year or so, but they had been involved in a family business, and the owners of the business were very, very keen to move this person onto the management track. They had shown some interest in the business, whereas other siblings hadn't, but realized that they needed to get some kind of, kind of a rapid immersion in what they were doing. So I would certainly, consider that for somebody who was coming to join the MBA, but it would have to be very clear in the application form what the reasons why the person wanted to sign up for an MBA, because usually it's done after a couple of years. Anything from the age of 25 up, I think people were saying, but if somebody is under that age, and if they said it, we're keeping a very, very open mind because this is our first intake of students. That said, if somebody has lots of experience, they shouldn't consider that they're too old to apply or anything.
Absolutely. So that's something that somebody could kind of demonstrate as part of their personal statement or SOP for the application.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a question specifically on the SOP, and it's regarding kind of word limits for the SOP. I don't know if you have any advice, Professor Cullen, for people writing personal statements. If not, guidance on that or instruction on
Yeah.
that could be available from the admissions team directly.
Perfect. Well, I mean, just to say, there's an opportunity to say something really convincing about yourself and to sell yourself in an SOP when you're putting it through. If I mean, consider it this way: we're anticipating a large number of applicants for the program, and if we're down to only one place that's left available, and one person has written a really detailed statement saying, these are the reasons I want to do the MBA, and this is what I want to get back from it, and this is why I want to come to Ireland, to Maynooth, to do this specific one, and they've provided that, and another person hasn't filled it in at all, or another person has given a much shorter version, or it's clear that they've used ChatGPT to write it, rather than it being a personal statement, which one is going to get selected? There's an opportunity there to really, really use that to give us a sense of who it is that of what it is that you want to bring to the program.
Fantastic. There's 2 or 3 questions relating to scholarship. So Professor Cullen outlined the tuition fees for the programme, and yes, of course, Maynooth University offers a number of different scholarship opportunities for students. Ourselves here in the postgraduate recruitment office, we manage scholarships for Irish and EU students, and the international office manage scholarship schemes for international or non-EU students. There are full details of all scholarship programs on the MU website, and I'll drop a link into the chat so that you can be guided by that as well. Deirdre, I don't know if you spotted any specific questions in the Q&A. Another question here: is an interview mandatory for admission to the program? But I don't think an interview is part of the admissions process for this, is it?
Depending on the statement, we do kind of reserve the right, or the program directors, I should say, for all of our programs, does reserve the right to actually discuss with a student, and that's the reason is not to assess the applicant, but just to see whether. I think everybody should do an MBA, by the way. I think they're fantastic qualifications, but sometimes the person might need some additional time to actually get some work experience, so that they're kind of in the right frame of mind to do an MBA. We want people to come here to be happy and to be successful and to actually have a great time when they're in Ireland as well. That's really important to us. But if we sense that somebody could do with more, work experience, or a little bit of a break, or just even a year or two, to gain some additional experience and some personal maturity, sometimes, that's really why it's more to help the person see whether they're at the right stage of their career, they're at the right stage of their own development for doing an MBA, because it can be quite an intense program. It's really, it is something that will change you for the better, and really help accelerate your career. But if it's not done at the right time, the person may not necessarily get all of the benefits from it that they could.
Absolutely. Okay. A couple of more questions. There's a couple of questions, and I'm also interested in knowing more about kind of the internship. That's a big draw for a lot of people looking at this program, is that opportunity to connect with industry and to kind of almost get some working experience as part of the program. Specifically, somebody's asking about the internships or the industry placements, if they would be typically paid. So that's one question, and a kind of
Yeah.
another question is around the support that's offered to students in finding those opportunities. Is that something that the school offers, maybe in conjunction with the careers team here at the university?
Well, we have our own alumni and student experience officer in the School of Business. So we've got one, we have two, a small team working at the moment, but we're currently recruiting our own placement officer,
Hmm.
which who will help students get those placements. The placements aren't you know, paid by default, although I know in the past sometimes students have been paid by some people that they're who are doing the from. So the placement is just to be very clear, the placement is to get you into do, like, there's a module that goes with the placement,
Hmm.
and there are assignments that come from the placement. It's not it's not work experience, because I'm guessing most of the graduates will have those. This is you actually going to work for in a firm for specific purposes. So there well, I actually don't know, but I think that most placements aren't paid.
Okay. Deirdre, a question for you that you might be able to clarify on English language requirements for business masters programs. So what would maybe be the IELTS requirement? I think it's typically 6.5. I don't know if it's.
Yes, and I think our School of Business also look for a minimum of 6 in reading and writing. And we can share the link, the other acceptable English language tests as well. We do accept a number of others as well, but as a general guideline, it's overall IELTS 6.5 is a minimum.
Perfect. I think we've covered. There's a couple of questions where we're going back to people kind of directly with specific questions or specific answers to their questions. But I suppose I think we've covered the majority of the questions. Professor Cullen, I don't know if you want to sort of end with any final words of encouragement for those considering the MBA program, or indeed any program at the School of Business.
Have a look at that website. Have a look at the School of Business taught programs. You'll see there's a variety of programs that are there. There's pretty much something for everybody. We're really excited about our new MBA program. There's been a good deal of competition to actually get onto the teaching team for that. It's an opportunity to join a program while it's starting out and to do something that's really new and interesting. Just to say though as well, I have to say that whenever we have visitors to this campus, university campuses tend to be nice anyway, but people always notice the kind of the level of care, the attention, the student centeredness of it. We have a mixture of the kind of traditional university with the dating back to the 19th century, and a new modern approach as well. We have a growing international community of students as well, particularly in the postgrad space, which we're absolutely delighted about. I think we're close enough to a big city centre like Dublin to have access to everything that you might need a city for. But most students tend to kind of live around Maynooth, and because it is just a really good environment to come to study and to learn. No matter what you do, even if you decide not to come to Maynooth, even if you decide, to go a completely different direction, one thing that I always just ask people to do is just please continue learning. It's one of the most kind of life changing things that you can do. We hope that you'll come and do it here with us, because this is genuinely what we're all about. And I didn't put up on my final slide there as well that you have Harriet and Deirdre's names to contact them if you've any questions about the application process or arriving as an international student. The program director for the MBA is Dr. Tatiana Andreeva. You'll see her link on the website as well. And indeed, if you please don't hesitate to contact me as well. My contact details are also available.
Thank you so much, Professor Cullen. Deirdre, I don't know if you have any final words to add.
Just maybe to add to what Professor Cullen said there, that we are, a very small, safe university community on the edge of Dublin city centre, and as you said, it is a very vibrant, lively European capital city, but you also have that sense of belonging in Maynooth because we are a little separate university community, but on the edge of the bigger city.
Mm-hmm.
A final comment from me is that for those of you who are watching and listening to this that are based in Ireland, we have a postgraduate open day taking place on the 11th of March. So there's a fantastic opportunity to visit the campus, see the beautiful campus that we have here for yourselves, and to meet directly with lecturers and professors, and indeed the support staff that are here to guide you through the admissions journey to Maynooth. Just once again, I have dropped contact details in there. Everybody that has attended and registered for this will receive a copy of the recording. So if you want to play any particular piece back, or if you want to share that recording with colleagues and friends, please do so. And please do look out for further online information sessions from Maynooth University that we're going to be advertising over the coming weeks. So thank you so much to my colleague Deirdre and to our speaker today, Professor John Cullen, Maynooth University School of Business. It's been a pleasure to have you all attend today, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully on campus soon. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.